Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today's painting is going to be of a yellow sort of boa constrictor snake. This painting actually sort of popped into my head while I was kind of going through a little bit of a shift with my own painting style and kind of what direction I wanted to take things with. And it just kind of wouldn't get out of my head, so I was like, okay, I need to paint it. So this is what kind of came out of that, and this is actually one of my first times painting a snake. I think it came out pretty well. I really just had it in my head, this vision of this sort of deep, rich red background with this vibrant yellow snake. Most of the colors I use for the snake are really luminous yellow colors, and a few oranges and a little bit of that luminous red as well. I believe the brand of paint that I used is Holbein. Yes, I think it's German, but it's basically these luminous colors, these very neon bright colors that I got, and it really makes it pop out of the canvas. So as you can see, I'm actually starting my snake by defining his initial shape and kind of figuring out how I want him to sort of curl around on the branch with some of that luminous yellow as well as some cadmium yellow. Then I go in with a detail brush and a little bit of burnt umber mixed in with some cadmium yellow just to give me a duller color, and then making that even darker to define the different shapes of the snake. So just defining all the deeper, darker areas on my snake. You have to kind of figure out where your light source is coming from. So if you can imagine the light source is coming from that top left corner, that's kind of what I'm going for with it. And then basing my shadows off of that information. So I'm really deepening down a lot of the the right side of the snake, as well as all the areas tucked behind the snake, as you can see me doing there. This piece is actually about change itself. I actually ended up calling this piece Agents of Change because I also added in some butterflies at the end. Snakes and butterflies are very symbolic of change. Snakes shed their skin in order to grow, and butterflies kind of emerge from chrysalises, transformed into something else. And so I think this piece came to me while I was changing my style a little bit to a more looser, free-flowing style. I'm allowing the drips to go down. I'm not allowing it to be super clean-edged all the time. Which is really hard to do for me actually, because I am very much someone who likes to paint very cleanly, very neatly. There's no like loose painterly feel usually to my pieces, so I've been really trying to loosen that up recently. I actually did achieve that piece with the dog painting that I did last month, so don't forget to check that video out too. And so I'm just really enjoying this looser feel to my paintings. I think I made this a little less loose than I originally intended, but I'm actually overall pretty happy with how this painting came out. Here I'm just adding in some white mixed in with that luminous yellow color to really start to bring out the highlights and make the snake become 3D here and just pop out of that canvas. Don't forget to add wrinkles where the snake's body kind of curves and bends. You can see in a couple of places I added some wrinkles just to give the illusion that the body is kind of curving around and his skin is folding up as he bends. I then went in with some of that luminous yellow again and just kind of started adding in random patterns on him. I noticed that a lot of the yellow constrictor boas or pythons, they have these patterns that they have all over their body. So I think this gave it another dimension of just something interesting to his body. I will later go in and define these yet again with some white so they really stand out and really pop out to the viewer. So I kind of added in a lot of the other elements of the painting off camera, such as the tree branch that he was resting on, as well as the butterflies. Originally for this painting, I thought about adding in some bright yellow flowers around the painting, but towards the end I kind of decided against it. It made it more of a statement piece, something that was a bit more striking, I think. So I'm glad I left the flowers out, but what do you think? Do you think I should have added them, or would you like to see another piece like this that does have either some yellow or white flowers to go with it? So as you can see, I'm going back and forth between my lights and my darks. I'm just kind of layering on those different highlights and shadows, just really deepening up that 3D effect that I'm going for. I also added a lot more drips towards the end, as well as this luminous red color. I found it mixed a little bit with that yellow and created this really vibrant orange color that just really looked good on the snake, and I liked how it kind of integrated the background a little bit into him. And then I went in with that deep umber and just kind of mixed it in with some of the yellows, again just to make it so brown, and used that mostly for my shadows. The snake head was kind of tricky because I wasn't really sure how to go about doing that. It's this weird balance you have to find of detail and texture that they have, so that was a challenge to do. I also went in more towards the end of my painting process with a detail brush and just took some pure white paint and started to really define the edges of the snake and just some of the brightest areas where the light would be affecting and sort of hitting him on those bright areas. It really made him pop out as well. And then also, like I said before, just redefining some of those bright yellow markings with this white. I gave my snake a little bit of a backlighting effect by highlighting all the dark bottom edge as well. This just gives the illusion that he is, the light is sort of behind him, hitting the very edges of his body. It's a really good technique to use for backlighting, and like if the sunset or something is in the background of your paintings, then you'll want to focus your light towards the edges of your subject. Adding a few textural things, elements such as scales. I only added a few patches of this. I didn't do these over the entire snake because obviously from a distance you're not going to see each teeny tiny little individual scale or detail. You're going to just see it a little bit catching in the light. So I only did a few patches here and there of the scales and just kind of allowed the rest of the body to be a little more bare. And then adding in some brighter white just to really highlight. All you're doing in painting is layering enough to push and pull your shadows and highlights either backwards or forwards. Obviously the more highlighted something is, the more forward it's going to come, and the more darker something is, the more pushed towards the back of the painting it's going to be. Adding a few more drips because I quite liked the drip effect in this particular piece. I don't know, some people may not like it. I kind of enjoyed it, especially because I'm trying to be a little looser with this painting. And then detailing out his face and filling in the eye. Decided to go for a bright yellow eye with him just because it seems a pretty common color for snakes of this species. And then just adding those teeny tiny white dots that go in there so that they really look alive. And then again, in the air of being a little more looser, I actually went in with these paint pen marker type things. I don't really know what you call them, but they just create this slightly textured, and they are paint, they do dry after a while, and you can get them online. But after that, it was pretty much done. I finished the butterflies off camera, and then I varnished the painting to give it a nice even sheen over the entire thing, because I use glazes and they tend to make weird patches of shiny versus not. So if you enjoyed this painting, please let me know in the comments below, and if you have any animals that you want me to paint in the future, please suggest those down below as well.